Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy corridors of Roman power with one of the greatest historical works ever written, the Annals by Tacitus. If you think modern political dramas are intense, just wait until you hear about the real-life intrigue of the Roman Empire. So, who was Tacitus? Publius Cornelius Tacitus was a Roman senator and historian who lived in the late 1st and early 2nd centuries AD. He wasn't just some scholar locked away in a library. He was an active politician who saw the inner workings of the empire firsthand. This personal experience gave his writing an incredible edge. A sharp, cynical, and deeply psychological insight into the minds of emperors and the people around them. The Annals covers the reigns of 4 emperors who followed Augustus: Tiberius, Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. This period, known as the Julio-Claudian dynasty, was a roller coaster of paranoia, ambition, and absolute power. Tacitus's goal was to write history without anger and without partiality. But what we get is a masterclass in subtle critique. He doesn't just list events. He dissects motivations, exposes hypocrisy, and paints a grim picture of how absolute power corrupts. Let's start with Tiberius. After the godlike Augustus, Tiberius had big shoes to fill. Tacitus portrays him as a gloomy, suspicious ruler, increasingly isolated and paranoid. He retreats to the island of Capri, leaving the ruthless Praetorian prefect Sejanus in charge in Rome. The story of Sejanus' rise and dramatic fall is one of the most compelling parts of the Annals. It's a chilling lesson in how unchecked ambition can lead to a reign of terror, filled with treason, trials, and executions. Tacitus shows us how fear poisoned Roman society from the top down. Next up, Caligula. Unfortunately, most of Tacitus's account of Caligula is lost to history. But from what survives and other sources, we know Caligula's reign was infamous for its madness and cruelty. He was the emperor who supposedly made his horse a consul, while Tacitus would have likely given us a more nuanced view. The surviving fragments hint at a ruler who pushed the boundaries of power to their most depraved limits. Then we have Claudius, often seen as a bumbling, physically weak figure who is manipulated by his wives and freedmen. Tacitus gives him a more complex treatment. Yes, he highlights the court intrigue, especially the influence of his ambitious wife, Messalina, and later his niece, Agrippina the Younger. The story of Messalina's scandalous behavior and public marriage to another man while still married to the emperor is pure soap opera. But Tacitus also shows Claudius as a surprisingly effective administrator at times. It's a fascinating portrait of a man unexpectedly thrust into power and struggling to control the viper's nest around him. And finally, we arrive at Nero, the artist emperor. This is where Tacitus truly shines. His account of Nero is unforgettable. He chronicles Nero's descent from a promising young ruler, guided by his tutor Seneca, into a tyrant obsessed with his own artistic talent and willing to eliminate anyone in his way, including his own mother, Agrippina. Tacitus's description of the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD is legendary. He doesn't outright accuse Nero of starting it, but he masterfully plants the seed of doubt, reporting the rumor that Nero fiddled or rather sang while the city burned. He then details how Nero scapegoated the early Christians for the fire, leading to their horrific persecution. What makes the Annals so powerful is Tacitus's style. His Latin is dense, concise, and full of biting irony. He has a gift for memorable phrases that cut right to the heart of the matter. He's a moralist, constantly exploring the decline of Roman virtue and the death of the old Republic's freedoms under the emperors. Reading Tacitus isn't just learning about events. It's a psychological exploration of power, fear, and human nature. His work reminds us that the struggles for freedom, the dangers of tyranny, and the complexities of leadership are timeless. So, if you're looking for a historical account that reads like a modern political thriller, you have to check out the Annals. It's a dark, brilliant, and essential window into the soul of the Roman Empire. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.